All right, we ready for some
Yes.
Stuttering John highlights?
Yes.
This was, I thought Carl just did a great job with this. I thought it was so fucking funny. Let's see where the cuts on Brandon. Okay, here we go. Okay, first of all, John is interviewing, and when he interviews someone, it becomes all about John. He's the worst interviewer. It's so bad.
We're supposed to be learning about Michael Coppola and the book that he's promoting. We're supposed to be learning about his father.
Yeah, Michael's father is Pat Cooper, who was a comedian who was pretty well known in the, I think, the 70s and 60s, and then he sort of reinvented himself by going on Stern in the early years and being kind of crazy and just talking about his life and like talking about Michael, his son, who he was estranged from and they didn't get along, and he was apparently a pretty shitty father. And then at the end of his life, I guess he and Michael sort of reunited and everything got much better, and Michael wasn't out of the closet gay, and he was fine with that. He was just trying to, fix what he had fucked up so badly, and Michael seemed very happy that they had sort of reunited. Well, Pat died, and John sets up this interview thinking that it's Pat's birthday and that they can relive. I think he wants to relive some Howard Stern days glory.
Okay.
By acting like somehow he's central to this, but it turns out it's not Pat's birthday. Because John goes, it's Pat's birthday, right? And he's like, no, his birthday's July 31st. And John's like, oh. And then he stumbles into the information
It's his birthday week.
He never was good at show prep.
No, he's so bad.
Or facts.
So then he stumbles into the fact that, they're having this celebration in New York for Pat, and they wanted to promote that. And then Michael mentions for the first of many times that he's also written 3 books, which John never asks him about the books. John mentions his book, but doesn't mention, this is just a message to John that, I can mention my book and that I'm a writer. But he doesn't ever ask him the title of any of his books. And he just says, maybe I can make it because I'll be over there filing a counter-suit.
Oh, my God. He thinks everybody knows what's going on in his world.
No, it's so stupid. And just like when the super chats start coming, these two people,
wait to see that,
it's Michael and his stepmother who married his dad. And they're like so dumbfounded by what's going on. And John's like, in the Dabbleverse, like they're just going to understand.
They know what that is.
Within 45 seconds, they're going to understand. And John ends up basically saying in the course of the interview that probably about 50 different people completely trash him and his mom and his sister. And it's like, why is everyone trashing you?
What do you want Pat Cooper's kid to do about it?
It's so stupid. I thought I was doing an interview about my dad's event next week. But anyway.
Wouldn't it be great if he's like, well, my dad never had to deal with anything like that, and just bring everything back to his dad constantly?
So John.
Idiot.
Also, Emily knows John from way back. John doesn't remember that, but she does because she was dating Jackie the Joke Man before she married Pat Cooper. So she apparently liked comedians, and she was with Jackie for a while. And so John at some point asks her, while his son who's gay is there on the screen, like talking to his gay son and his stepmother, he asks her who has a bigger cock, Jackie or Pat. Well, his son, he wants to hear all about his dad's dick.
Oh my God.
He's a shock jock.
And she wants to talk about the dick that she used to have.
What an asshole.
Or she was with Pat. It's so stupid. It's unbelievable. But let's start with the first cut. And this is John. Michael has just explained that, things were really rough with his dad. He never went to his graduations, didn't attend any events, and then later in life, fortunately, made up for it. And this stuns John because John's such an incredible dad.
And I'm happy that you got to end it on good terms,
Right.
Because it's funny, while I listen to how Pat never attended any of your graduations and anything, I'm sitting there going, I've attended every one of my kids' track meets, soccer matches,
against their wishes,
softball games, award ceremonies, graduations.
Hey, tell me not to go. I'm gonna kick out of all of them.
And then you have the other way around where
It's crazy. I'm such a great dad, and your dad was so bad.
Terrible, yeah. What's it like having a bad dad? What an asshole.
So then things take a really weird turn when John decides let's read some super chats.
Oh, great.
And I think the super chat, isn't it asking if Shuli tried to interview Michael about his dad because John had said he was going to interview him, so Shuli would then try to steal the interview. And so, isn't that where this is going?
The chat comes up, and the chatter's name is Hunter Biden's Crack Pipe. For $4.99, he sends this message. Mr. Caputo, has Shuli Egar tried to get you on his show? Whatever you do, don't go on. Pat hated him.
God.
It doesn't make any sense.
Right, and he's got to explain to everybody, okay, this is who,
But why would you read super chats during an interview about this event? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I noticed
That's
that.
totally stupid.
Disrespectful, too. They give it.
Here's a question from Hunter Biden's Crack Pipe. Thanks for the fiber. All these guys are, they have all these crazy names.
It's okay. Let them ask anything they want. I'm open to answer.
Mr. Caputo, has
we'll see
Shuli
about
Egar
that.
tried to get you on his show?
No, I don't know who Shulegar is.
Nobody does. Whatever you do, don't go on. Pat hated him. No. You know what it is? That's what I was telling you in the car earlier, Michael. I guess I had mentioned like a month ago, I'm going to have Pat Cooper's son on, and I'm very excited. And then Shuli, who did he did a stint on Howard Stern, but he didn't do anything besides weighing the excrement of two fat guys.
Jesus, John, way to put some context around it. He did a stint on Howard Stern. He was on the Stern Show longer than you were. Yeah. But all he did was just the expression.
What are you supposed to make of that?
And then Shuli, who did he did a stint on Howard Stern, but he didn't do anything besides weighing the excrement of two fat guys, whackpackers.
Why they call him the shit wire?
Then he was trying to get you on the show to stick it to me.
He's so respectful. He used the word excrement.
I don't even know what the guy. Nobody contacted me, John, except you. You're the only one that contacted me.
Oh, well, I'm a hero.
Okay, yeah. So I got the exclusive.
So now John is going to explain the Dabbleverse in 45 seconds.
Oh, great. This will make sense.
Yeah, this is so stupid. I forgot what this is about exactly.
I feel bad for Pat Cooper's kid because he's really
nice.
He's a passenger in this entire thing.
But he loves his father, and he wants to,
Yeah.
let
He's
people
like,
know.
it's fine. I'll answer any question. Little does he know.
There are about 22 shows every single day. Every hour of every minute of every second, whatever.
Every hour of every minute of every second. That's incredible. He fucks a lot of things up, but that might be one of my favorites of all time.
Hour of every minute of every second, whatever, that are doing shows, watching me and commenting about me. You would think I was De Niro. I mean, all they do is
the
watch
president.
me. Nope. It's Michael, Emily. I know I'm fucking compelling, but I didn't know I was that compelling. I mean, how the fucking... I must be the...
But enough about you,
fuck
John.
that other guy. I am the most interesting man in the world.
Of course, he doesn't explain that these shows are just making fun of him.
Yeah.
He doesn't explain that at all.
No.
So let's see. Let's read some more super chats instead of talking about your dad's charity event. This guy's like, yeah, this is about my dad's event. I mean, about a celebration of life. What the fuck? And the super chat... Super chats can be such assholes when they're not ragging the shit out of John in these super chats. They're saying something shitty about Michael Caputo for no reason, and John, instead of like passing on them, he reads them.
Right, he doesn't have to read that super chat.
Yeah, I was going to say, real quick, explain how that works. I mean, he can read and pre-read them and pick and choose.
Right, he can see them before he puts them on the screen. He can
if
pass on them.
But if he doesn't read them, he doesn't get paid, right?
Well, he has to read them once the interview's over.
Yeah.
He could do that.
well, why
He
not
can
just
read
do
them
that?
later. He doesn't have
Because
to
he's
read them
so-
to Mike's face.
He's so lazy. So this person is pointing out that Michael Caputo is gay.
Oh, so it's
does
not-
that really need to be part of this interview?
So he doesn't have a time frame that he has to read it in.
No.
Oh, what a
No.
fucking dick.
If anybody wants to find me, they can find me on YouTube channel. Just look under Michael Caputo author.
I have a YouTube channel too.
Now, I think this guy's accusing you, and you don't have to, don't be mad at me, but I think he's saying that you're gay, which I don't, I have two gay kids.
No,
The super chat, by the way,
two gay kids.
from Mike's shitty internet provider is $2. Hello, light-skinned Captain Mauser Caputo with AIDS.
yeah, you have two gay kids. I don't care what they say about the gay thing. My father didn't have a problem with it. My mother didn't have a problem with it. My grandmother didn't have a problem with it. I don't care what any stranger has to say
That was a really boring comment. Does anybody have a better one?
Oh, good for her.
No, she thinks
She's
that
got a
these
sense of
people.
humor.
She actually thinks people are like participating in the interview. She doesn't understand what the super chatters are at all.
Right. She
The
has
super
no
chatters-
idea what she's gotten herself into.
Why would she?
No, of course she wouldn't. She knows nothing about the Dabbleverse. He shouldn't be reading super chats. It's insane. But this next super chat does the show a great service. He's doing prep that John didn't do, and he mentions that Michael Caputo, probably in one of his 3 books that John refuses to ask about the title of, Michael talks about how gay John Travolta is from his massage experience.
Oh.
This is kind of cool.
Oh.
Well, this is even worse, but I don't know if this. Did you know John Travolta at all?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, yes, I know scandal about him. I didn't know him personally. Yes, scandal. That's where they saw all that stuff on the internet. Yep.
So here is
on cover of the Daily News.
so here's Shuli's manager at Piggly Wiggly, 6 for the fiver. Don't forget to ask Mr. Caputo about John Travolta trying to SA him. I don't know
Sexually
what that
assault.
means. Also,
Duh.
how big is Travolta's crank?
I never worked on Travolta. I was a licensed massage therapist at the Peninsula Hotel. I never worked on John Travolta, but when John Travolta came to the Peninsula Hotel with his wife and kids 1 floor below, he would always request a male therapist, and he always tried his shenanigans.
Oh, boy.
So
Oh, really?
all around the country on boats, on cruises. So he would try to come on to the guys and try to do inappropriate behavior at places like that in 5
Wow, I didn't know that.
John, where have you been?
Yeah, John, come on,
Okay,
John.
let's just get that clear. But I'm not outing him, and I never worked on him. So I don't know
Wow.
what his crank is.
Really an
I know
exclusive.
a lot of other men out there do
Not an
know.
exclusive. Everybody
But
knows.
what does SA mean?
Oh, Jesus.
Sexual assault, John.
Remember the one thing I remember from the Travolta lawsuit, because we read the whole lawsuit on the air, was he told the masseurs, masseurs, that he needed his buttocks rubbed because he was an airline pilot and was sitting down a lot.
That's right.
What a move, Johnny.
So, John should have followed up on this. Said, "Oh, what book is this in?" It's obviously one of the
right.
3 books, but no, he doesn't.
No, it said
at
he
all.
followed an exclusive.
By the way, thank you, Super Chatter, for getting that question, because that was the most compelling thing we've heard so far.
Yeah, and John had nothing to do with it, and it was a total fluke.
It's an exclusive, though, for John.
So anyway, Emily, somehow Jackie the Joke Man comes in because Emily used to date him. Probably when John asked who's more hung, his father or Jackie the Joke Man, which is great.
Jesus.
Just a great question, John. But John decides this is a great time to explain that Jackie the Joke Man, of course, trashes him, and Jackie's out of his mind.
You know what's funny you say that, Emily, because that's the thing. Jackie has a problem with me now, and it's only because I was
Everyone
saying
does.
I called him a schnorrer because he would because a friend of mine had hired him, and then Jackie was asking for a spa day for his girlfriend, and first class tickets, and then per diem, and the guy was already paying him $5,000 to essentially hang out at his party. So I called Jackie a schnorrer. Jackie got so mad at me, he don't talk to me anymore. Yet he could trash me all the time. I don't. It's weird. It's like he got cranky in his old age.
Why does everyone trash John? I mean, and Jackie, by the way, Jackie can ask for whatever he wants. And did you really pay Jackie $5,000 just to hang out at his
No,
party?
I doubt it.
He probably was doing stand-up.
Well, what is Jackie saying about John?
The real reason Jackie's mad is because John, he told John that he had had a stroke and he had some physical issues, and said, John, by the way, that's under the, please don't speak of
Yeah,
that.
I think he
And
had a
John-
seizure, and he didn't want to talk about it.
And so John then talked about his stroke on his podcast.
What?
Jackie got pissed, and then John did it again.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Yeah, so Jackie.
I don't know who wouldn't be Team Jackie there.
No, it's totally stupid.
I mean, even before that story, I think most people were, but come on.
Okay, so
Please don't talk about my stroke. Jackie had a stroke. It's like the only thing you can think of.
the next cut is John again. I think Pat came. I mean, well, this guy, of course, think, God, I thought we were talking about my dad and this event for my dad, and somehow his dad comes up again, and John uses that moment to once again point out what a fabulous dad he is.
I'll tell you what. When my daughter came out to me as trans, we had a wonderful hour-long conversation. And in the conversation, he said, "Dad, as liberal as you are, I couldn't imagine this going any better." And that really touched my heart.
John, you're amazing. God, these anecdotes are so great. for a guy, especially who had such a hard time getting along with his dad, who ignored him for most of his life until the end.
The only point of that story was to talk about how
Great he is.
handled it.
No, I know. Dick. Then, again, I'm sure Michael and Emily, the stepmother, are probably thinking, well, I'm sure we're going to start talking about Pat now. I mean, this is getting way off track here. It's crazy. And then John, for no reason, he wants to talk about Kevin Brennan trashes me.
A different host. A different
Another show.
So does he have to explain that too?
They barely know Kevin Brennan. I don't think they know
They
him.
say about me, and they attack my kids. They attack my mother. I mean, it's nonstop. And and then if I retaliate, like I have, Kevin Brennan, the comedian.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah. So he starts calling my mother.
What answer gets us out of here?
And starts calling my sister an ugly Danny DeVito dwarf. Right.
Call my sister Danny DeVito.
I guess John has repeated that like 500 times. Like no one would ever think of John's sister as a Danny DeVito dwarf or whatever, except that John keeps repeating it. So the super chats have gone so wonderfully. Let's why don't we go back to some more super chats?
I love the look on Pat Cooper's son's face.
He's so confused.
He has
What am I doing here?
idea.
Like, I thought we were honoring my dad and talking about this event, and it's
I
these
even
crazy
hung this-
fucking super chat.
I even hung this picture of my dad up behind us. We haven't even talked about him.
But the super chats have been so great in keeping the interview on track. Let's do some more.
This is okay. Now check this out. No car sound. And five. Do you know recently Johnny called the guy the F slur for drinking an espresso martini?
Okay, pause. John, the super chatter is just trying to cause shit
Yeah.
by bringing up the fact that John called somebody a fag on his call to Kate Meany, who recorded the calls, and then, of course, they got played. And so now John is going to bring up two-party states for recording phone calls, how terrible this
Every
is.
excuse for him using the word.
Right, and why he called somebody a fag, because, now he knows Michael is gay, which he didn't know before the interview, which he should have. But now the listeners are all trying to fuck with John by putting up super chats like this, and John just reads them like an idiot. So he's going to explain all this. It's real simple.
Now keep in mind, just in my defense,
What's the F slur?
for gay people.
Faggot.
Oh,
Faggot.
oh, oh.
Faggot.
No, not the one way.
Fag?
Yeah. So what happened was, I'm talking to Kevin Meany, the comedian. Kevin Meany was a famous comedian who left his wife with a poor man, and he had a
spread
daughter.
it up.
And the
It's
daughter was
so
getting
long.
bullied by all these people in this Dabbleverse, we call it. And I was white knight before. I was trying to defend her. So we used to talk on the phone. I was 15 beers in, and and eating edibles. And she said, "I want like espresso." Martinis. Now, at the same time, I'm watching Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I'm right in the middle of it. And it's right after Sean Penn's character goes, those guys are, and then the F word.
Yeah, John can't even say it. It's so terrible.
And I said the F word. Now, that was just to be funny, and it was a private conversation. She taped me without my consent. California's a two-party consent state, and she gave it to the shows that hate me. And so now there's, now I'm anti-gay. Oh, give me a
Now they're turning you into a homophobe. Meanwhile, you got two gay children.
Yeah.
Just accept it.
Oh, boy.
Well,
Let me explain what happened.
I kind of admire his excuse machine there of why he is not. It's not his fault. Because he was 15 beers in with edibles watching Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Good excuse.
Sean Penn calls somebody, he can't even say the word. It's such a horrible word.
when
And use the F word.
when you're fucked up and you hear a word and you just naturally repeat it right away.
I just quoted
Yeah, about a guy drinking. What was the guy drinking he called a fag?
an espresso martini.
I'm glad he wasn't like listening to NWA or something. And then the N word, the N word just comes flying out. What a clown.
So then let's see.
He's not responsible for anything, is he?
No. So Michael and Emily are just totally in the twilight zone now. You can see it on their faces. We're watching the video. They both look so confused. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
What have we gotten
I
ourselves
thought this was an
into?
interview about this thing for Pat Cooper. But let's see. John, the next track, he's talking about, that they taped him to destroy his life. And I think this is Fast Speed 2. Not a great way to promote Pat's event.
Horrible. Emily, for someone to tape you, when you're trying to help them, tape you. And you know why she did it? Because the Shuli guy orchestrated, had her do it, because she didn't like that the Shuli show were making fun of her look, saying she had a big chin. So she made a deal with them. If you stop making fun of me, I'll take John when he doesn't know it. Who the fuck does that? And for these shows to play these calls, which by the way, I'm suing them, but for them to play it, I mean,
Look how confused they are.
Are they trying to destroy my life? Because I'm also a school teacher. I don't know if you guys know that.
I'm also a school teacher. Yeah, that was really important, John. They need to know that. So,
Well, no, I think that's kind of virtue signaling, right?
yeah.
I love kids. I like to help the
trying to destroy
future.
my life.
They're our
They're
future.
trashing my kids. They're trashing my mom. They want me to lose my job as a school teacher.
By the way-
As a school teacher, of course, everyone knows that.
How about
Even
that?
though I don't know anything about Pat or his birthday
Or his kids' books.
or his kids being gay.
Nice. By the way, the subtle shot at Kate Meany.
Yeah.
Oh, about her chin?
Yeah, they're all making fun of her, and I'm just being the nice guy.
No,
I'm the
he's-
White Knight.
He was trying to be the hero, but it just
He
didn't
always
work out.
is. What a-
So anyway, again, this thing is going great. They're promoting this important event about his dad, who is such a great guy. And John decides this interview is a great place to make a huge announcement about John.
Oh,
I've never heard
Well,
this.
that's the other thing. I'm planning on, at some point, I'm going to run for Congress because I think I can beat the guy in my district.
It's too funny. He cannot run for Congress.
Why would he bring that up in this interview? He's not running for Congress.
where does he live now? I don't even know where John lives.
He's in Florida. His house is in Florida,
I thought
right?
he was back in Massapequa, but who knows?
Well, he's at his mom's place in Florida, but he got rid of his apartment in California, didn't he?
So he's a carpetbagger? Where's he going to run for Congress?
I have no idea. He's not going to run for Congress. There's no way he's going to do that.
I want him to.
He must be high as fuck.
I think
Why
that'd
did
be
he say
great.
that? Anyway, poor Emily.
So embezzle from his own campaign.
Yes, Emily makes the mistake. Oh my God, I'm sure she's still hurting from this. She happens to mention Quentin Tarantino, which, of course, like a hammer to John's knee, reflexively brings out his Quentin Tarantino story that will top hers by miles.
That's some script he has. Like, he told that story verbatim, how we've heard it many times before. They didn't ask.
Uh-oh.
Have you met Quentin
That was your
Yes. No, none of
timestamp.
that.
Hold on one sec.
What the guy talking about his fucking books? John, it gets brought up again. Travolta gets brought up again, and his books get brought up again.
That's when they called me and wanted to do an exclusive interview with me if I knew anything about Travolta's inappropriate behavior. I said I would.
Yeah, I
This is
don't
way, way back.
Yeah, that's not the right one. Let me try this one. Here.
I'm on the Tonight Show. I wrote a lot of cold opens, which is like, in SNL,
All right, I got it.
That's it. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
they go, that sketch when they say live from New York and Saturday night. So with the Tonight Show, we have a 30, 40 second cold open. If one got approved, I got the most in because I love to write and direct these actors. So I got to know a lot of actors. So me, I think this was me and John Kennedy, another writer. We wrote one for Jay and Quentin Tarantino. So I say action. Quentin goes his lines, and he just goes on script and goes for a minute and a half. And I go, cut. I go, Quentin. It's got to be 30, 40 seconds. You got to stick to the script. He's like, okay, John. Okay, man. And then as I'm walking out of the room, I'm going, I can't believe Stuttering John is directing Quentin Tarantino. What a charmed wife.
That's great.
That's great.
That's great. Good
That's
job.
about the only response you could have.
John has told that story so many times.
So it's just you directed a sketch with Quentin.
Yeah, he was directing Quentin Tarantino. I can't believe Stuttering John's directing me, which he never said, I'm sure. But
I
anyway.
got to tell you, I can't believe that he directed me either.
Let's read some more super chats that will insult our guests. Let's not just skip them or anything like that. Let's just come out and read them and bum our guest out one more time.
Stuttering John is lying. Shuli is beating John with everything. No, he's not. Suck deep, Chokar. Thanks for $5. Michael, did your mommy buy your house like John's did for him? She didn't buy me the
I
house.
was with John. Oh, Michael, wait.
No. In other words, these guys
so
think
confused.
my
He's so
mom
confused by
bought
the-
my house.
I don't think this is a guy. This looks like a female. The picture here is a female on there.
Oh, yeah, but-
It's already been on.
The name is Suck Deep Choker. And the guy's like, I think that's a woman right there, John. I don't think you're understanding what's going on with this super chatter. Don't enter this world. You will not like it, Michael.
Yeah, but
It's already been on here 5 times already.
Yeah. And he starts asking John, like, why
Okay.
are you reading?
He does.
Yeah, he does. He asks him, why are you reading these? What's going on?
I gotta make money.
And a little later on, he's going to ask, like, what are we doing with this? Is this interview? Where's this going? And the answer is
good.
fucking hilarious.
Good.
But let's see. So the super chat was saying to Michael, did your mommy buy your house like John's mommy bought his house? Because I think John's house is in his mom's name. So anyway, he gets insulted once again, and John just has to read it, which is so stupid.
God.
So let's see, where are we now? Quentin Tarantino. Okay,
There's
Michael.
the after one where
this
he-
is it. Michael asks a question like, what are you doing with this interview? This is so, we get these super chats. We barely talked about my dad. Of course, I have 3 books that you never mentioned. And John's answer is that it's available to my Patreon and my which is like basically his paying customers. Like you have to pay to hear this clusterfuck of Michael Caputo, Pat Cooper, Emily, and John, although you can watch it live, but then he takes it down to me. I mean, this is so stupid.
Michael, are you like, what the fuck is this? Are you like, this is so weird. They pay you to insult you. What is this? It's like your jaw's dropping. Like, I can't believe people pay you to fuck.
John, when you're done with the interview, like, where you put this? Do you post this all over Facebook and everything? Do you post this on Facebook?
No, I'll
is this?
On your channel.
I put it on my channel just for the members. And I put it on Patreon just for the members.
Yeah, so it has, you have to pay for it.
Because,
Right.
you know, I'm giving it away free live, but after that, if you want to watch it, then you got to pay for it.
Yeah, it's that good. Sure.
You gotta pay.
Why would anyone pay for this interview? I mean, that's basically reducing the size of it.
I love
you'll
that
only-
one line though. What is this?
Well, it's so stupid. Who would want to watch this? I mean, he's wondering, how is this going to help my dad? And then Jen's like, if you don't catch it live, then you got to pay for it. Like, this is such a stellar interview. I mean, the answer is
Which
just
doesn't
dumber.
help the guest at all.
No, Carl called this by far the most embarrassing part of the interview. I would have to agree. It's the question that any interviewer would ask about the subject of an end-of-life event, which is, of course, well, you'll hear it.
I don't think Pat ever talked about me, right? I mean, because I'm not, like a famous comedian, if you will.
He talked about the show a lot.
Yeah.
But not you.
How kind of her. She's so sweet to say that. Why would he ask that?
Because he's a narcissist.
I know, but how embarrassing.
Plain and simple. Be sure he has no shame.
I know, but I think he kind of knew the answer. He didn't really want to know the answer, but I think he kind of knew it.
There's that small chance that maybe he said something about Stuttering John.
Yeah, you could tell he was kind of grappling with...
Which is probably like, I love going on that Howard Stern show, except for that fucking Stuttering John.
I think he was grappling with asking the question, but it's like, if he did talk about me, I've got to know.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
And then you got the extra one I added, Brandon?
Yeah, I think he's bragging about the books he's written. Is that what it is?
Well, Michael's desperately trying to, spur some kind of interest out of John regarding his 3 books.
Yeah, he's here to promote this thing.
And so he mentions it again. And of course, John sees this as a great time to mention all of John's writing credits.
Oh, Jesus.
Guess what? I wrote for Howard Stern, Jay Leno, the comedian Jeffrey Ross.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and all the people at his roast, including Bill Walton. I wrote for Stephanie Miller. I wrote for Bite Size TV.
What?
I mean, all those cold opens, I was writing jokes for all those people. So fuck you.
Okay, why are you writing those jokes now? You're such a great, prolific joke writer. Why aren't you doing it now?
I mean, honestly, when this thing was going along further, I was like, God, I wonder if John's going to find a way to get the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar roast in this thing. And he did! But Andy pointed out that Trucker Andy, or what does Andy go by? Andy Q Public now. Andy mentioned that, John, he didn't mention the professional arm wrestling thing that he hosted, which he usually rolls through all his...
I love that everybody knows all his weak credits.
Of course. What is Bite Size TV?
No,
I don't know.
What is
Never
that?
heard of
I've never
that.
even heard of it.
Never heard of that at all. Yeah.
He mentions that a lot.
Is that like a Quibi thing?
Yeah, I think it is.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think it's sort of like that.
Let's see.
But oh my God, this guy has written 3 books. And John takes no interest in them without prompting at all. He just rolls through his credits. So it was he has to be the worst interviewer. He just declared the other day that I'm the best interview in the Dabbleverse and one of the best interviewers in radio.
Okay.
It's like,
sure.
what? You've never done an interview in
Don't
radio.
do any prep.
He was on the Howard Stern show. He never did an interview. He's never done an interview on radio. Every interview he's done has been a political interview on his stupid podcast. Yeah. And he's terrible.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, that was. I would love to interview Michael Caputo about that interview. Wouldn't that be fascinating?
Get in touch
Let's
with
get
him.
him on. I hope Shuley has him on too.
We'll promote the book a lot better than that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we could. Why don't we find out the title? Can you look up the title of his 3 books?
Sure.
Someone should mention them.
Yeah. We can link to him too.
I'd love to hear the Travolta stories. I bet those are fucking awesome. Isn't it weird that John Travolta still, I mean, he could come out and would be celebrated. But it must be Scientology, right?
Yes.
That's the only reason.
Yeah, that's what they're holding over his head.
That's funny. We heard that a long time ago, and I remember Mike mentioned it many times that John knows if he leaves Scientology that they will unleash the gay file.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they audit.
The alarms would go off.
They drill every bit of information they can get about you in the audits, which then we're going to fix this. Whatever your problem is, we can fix it in Scientology. So, just, I blew this guy, and this guy blew me, and, I went to this massage, and I turned over, my dick was hard, and he beat me off, and gave him a huge tip.
So he has a memoir called Chameleon, about being gay. He has Dear Pat Cooper, What Happened to My Father, Pasquale Caputo. And never forget what they've done to us. Counterfeit Christians 101. Okay.
He kind of got around to those themes in the course of what little bit of the interview I heard. Carl had like 30 cuts. I mean, I cut like half the ones that he had, but I swear, I wish this interview, maybe I should join his Patreon to hear his terrible interviews. He had the interview with, what's her name from Extra, the female who's so cute. She's like 58, 60 years old, something like, what's her name?
Lisa.
Lisa Guerrero.
Lisa Guerrero, yeah. He interviewed Lisa Guerrero. Oh my God, it was just horrible. And John mentioned too, at the end, she must have been horrified. He's like, yeah, we ought to get together for a drink sometime. She's like, oh yeah, sure, John, I'd love that. I mean, she's super nice.
He probably thought he was going to nail her.
I think he would like to try it. They both ran through all their credits.
Yeah.
She's as bad as him.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, but at least she's the guest. At least she should be
that's
able to
true.
say what she's been doing.
At least she's been gainfully employed.
He's been repeating the same resume over and over and over.
I know. I can't believe he actually dropped in there. He wrote for Stephanie Miller.
Right, he was on that
That's a
job for 2
podcast.
weeks.
He got fired for drinking, didn't he?
I think so. They tried giving him any job. Run the board. He couldn't do it. Here's some prep. He couldn't do it.
If when people list the best roasts of all time, I don't think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar ever even gets mentioned.
No.
Wait, didn't he say he wrote for Jeffrey Ross?
Yes,
Yeah.
he did say that.
That's that stupid movie.
You're right.
That's his
One
movie.
too many.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one too many.
You're
Jeffrey
right.
Ross was in the movie.
Jeffrey
and
Ross was
so-
the biggest star of that movie, so he claims, I wrote for him.
Wouldn't it be better to say, I wrote the movie?
Yeah, I think Jeffrey Ross would disagree that John wrote jokes for him.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad. Plus, the movie was a complete bomb. It's funny how John, he doesn't even shy away from credits that were horrible in the end, like being an Atlantic Records recording artist. He didn't sell any records.
I would love to interview Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to see if he knows who he is.
There's
no
the
way.
guy that wrote your roast?
There's no way. There's no way he has any recollection.
No way. There's very little evidence of that roast online, by the way.
Well, but isn't there that one clip of him like walking around John
Yeah,
in
there's
the lobby or something?
Drinking.
I think he's walking out of the roast, and he's looking really full of himself, too.
Yeah.
Well,
He's
it's a-
double
he-
fisting.
He peaked.
Could you just take a peek and see if there's something that pops up? Because I think there's something, but not much. I don't know. It's funny. That roast has been mentioned more times per how much it's been seen than any other roast by far. Just on his mentions.
Looks like Vimeo has it. Let's see.
What?
The whole roast?
That I'm not sure of yet. This is the only video that comes out.
Oh,
This is, I think this is just the preview because it's only like 10 minutes long.
Just look for John.
They say he shows up at the 3-minute mark, so let's fast forward.
Is his shirt tucked
I've never seen this. There's Bill Walton.
I'm looking in the background.
What rope for?
He was holding on to it.
John Sally.
The centerpiece.
Wow, look at that.
There's Kareem!
Ralph.
7-3.
You think the head writer would show up in here a little more prominently?
Busy working.
Yeah. He's writing a drop-in right now.
Dr. J and James Worthy, Coach Sharman, you're in the front.
Dr. J, Bill Sharman.
I'm looking for
Oh, he's got to be in this crowd scene somewhere.
John.
Wait. Let Coach Sharman in the front. Coach Sharman in the front. Molly, you can get in the front.
Is that Vinny Johnson?
Stand in front of somebody.
We'll see, BJ.
There's George Lopez.
First call.
A lot of famous people.
I can't believe any of these people know John's involved in this.
Nixon. Yeah.
But they're not showing any parts of the jokes that were written.
Because they were all terrible because John wrote them all.
There's John. There he is. Walking around with beers. That's it. That's all the
Okay,
screen
go back, I
time.
want to see it again. Just the sight of him made me laugh.
See
That's
how
terrible.
happy he is.
Where's North Mixon?
Oh my God, why?
Coach Sherman in the front. Malik, you can get in the front.
I'm not sure why that was so funny, but I just the sight of him just blew my mind.
Because there's a bunch
This
of
moment in time has had so much buildup.
there's all these athletes around, and then there's John. They're gonna, yeah, boy.
He's also underdressed.
Yeah, big time.
John, the last time John had to wear a suit, he borrowed his brother's suit. So I wonder if that's his brother's suit he's wearing there.
He's also walking around alone. It's just him and that beer.
just soaking it up.
Nobody's talking to him.
Shouldn't he be working? I mean,
Yeah.
wouldn't you keep writing jokes during the event?
I would think he'd be talking to somebody who's performing who needs a little boost.
No, you would because you want to get appearance jokes or something like that.
And other jokes get, stolen or used by other people, so you have to change things up.
Everyone's wearing a shirt and tie, and John is the only one not.
No one else has a bottle of beer in their hand either.
He doesn't have a glass.
No. Well,
All right, let it play.
I wrote for Bill Walton too.
It was so brief.
it's like he saw the camera and was immediately drawn to it.
How did you know it was at the 3-minute mark,
I don't
Brandon?
want to talk to
There was one comment that said John's at the 3-minute mark.
One comment.
Yeah, because people have been looking for examples of the jokes that were written.
5-time NBA champion, 3-time MVP, entrepreneur, owner, Los Angeles Dodgers, Irvin.
Yeah, Magic Johnson's there. Woo! Let's hear some John jokes.
It's not really a highlight introducing someone.
Get a chance to honor such an incredible man who is probably the smartest athlete I've ever met in my life. When you think about him,
Did John write that?
reading all those books and sharing knowledge with all of his teammates, and I think
No, John wrote for Magic Hero. You know how they found out I had AIDS? They found Kareem in my asshole.
But if we can all just salute this man, just with a standing ovation.
Yeah, I didn't hear any jokes.
No, they skip all the jokes, it seems.
But who was John writing jokes for?
It
You see who
wasn't
the next speaker is that they show?
George Lopez.
Oh, well, he writes his own jokes.
There's no way he wrote jokes for
No,
George.
go past George Lopez. Let's see if there's any athletes up there telling John's jokes.
Oh, get it, an old big old rocking chair.
Wait, John probably wrote this because it's Kareem talking.
To this day, I say, hey, Cap, how you doing? And you are?
He must have written that because a lot of people laughed.
No, because
Such a great, fast-breaking team started with Kareem shorts.
It's Kareem actually calling my name. I'm thinking he's going to tell me, go get me some water or something.
That's got to be John's joke.
I'm ready to jump
Is that
and
Michael
run back into the
Thompson?
garden.
No, because most of the jokes at these the athlete roasts are normally personal stories between people. That's what this guy's telling here. You can't write a joke about a personal.
Is there a
story.
Wikipedia entry for the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar roast?
I don't think so.
Great game tonight.
How could there not be a...
The last time my heart skipped a beat like that was when I first saw my wife. That's how I felt.
The shorts he wore in practice were so short
How short was it?
that the bottom of his ass cheek stuck out the bottom of the short.
That's got to be John's joke. Or at least he's taking credit for it. That's enough. I'm satisfied.
Yeah,
It's worth talking about.
You know what? They
Probably
need to,
more than he's talked about
They
it.
need to put a professional production piece of this roast out so everybody can tear it apart.
But that's like a teaser for the roast. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, how many great moments could there have been if those are the best ones they found? Yeah, boy. Well, that's unfortunate. I feel bad for
I
John.
just searched Kareem Abdul-Jabbar roast. There's a few entries, and then it has towards the bottom John Melendez. He was the sole writer hired for the 2013 Kareem Abdul-Jabbar roast, hosted by George Lopez. That's on his bio that he sent to Stir Crazy Comedy Club.
That John sent?
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's see. After 15 successful seasons, known as Stuttering John on the Howard Stern Show, John appeared on the reality show I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. How come he never mentions that credit?
Oh, he
He
does.
does.
Oh, he does? Okay.
Yeah.
His likability and humor scored him a guest spot on Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Immediately after his down-to-earth and hilarious segment, the show's executive producer and head writer offered John a job.
What?
Do you believe that? I don't believe
No,
that.
he was kicked out of the announcer chair. Remember, he was in the announcer. They had him in the audience as the announcer, and then they said, "Oh, that sucks."
Yeah,
And
there was
so-
no chemistry. There was more between Kevin Eubanks and Jay Leno, so they just got rid of him. Put him in the writer's room.
John began on the Howard Stern radio show as a college intern, but immediately became one of the show's very popular on-air personalities, while gaining national acclaim and recognition for his daring interview style and his no-holds-barred questions.
Written by Jackie.
Which he didn't
Fred.
write, yeah. He started writing for the show as well. So that's when he started writing for the show.
Okay.
He interviewed countless celebrities for the radio show, which led him directly to be hired as a field reporter for the nationally syndicated Howard Stern television show. Let's see. He was the sole writer for the 2013 Kareem Abdul-Jabbar roast.
Yep.
John's feature film credits include Howard Stern's Private Parts, Dude, Where's My Car, and Osmosis Jones.
Yeah, he's in Dude, Where's My Car for about 2
He
seconds.
was in Celebrity Fear Factor, Wings, Baywatch Nights, and the animated series Tipping the Rift.
I think that was during Howard. He claimed Crystal Bernard wanted to fuck him, too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is, oh my God, if she ever hears that, is she going to lose her shit?
John recently is the executive producer, co-host of the immensely popular The Stephanie Miller Happy Hour Show, and is currently about to launch his own video podcast on her network.
Yeah, right.
What? He worked there for a very short time, didn't he?
Maybe a month.
Wasn't he blown out? Allegedly?
I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that didn't work out very well.
And then
I guess it was his credit at the time.
And at the very bottom of it, he's got a link to stutteringjohnmelendez.com. But then when you click on it, looks like this domain isn't connected to a website yet.
He didn't pay for it.